Alright guys, so we had to unfortunately start this game a little bit early, so we missed a bit of the action. I believe the players had to stick to the schedule, so we just missed the initial pistol round, but I can just give you a little catch-up if you want. Seed managed to take the pistol, and they are currently up 3-0 here on Mirage. As always, we are here for the FCDB Cup 2017. My name is Hawker, joined by Sir Danny to bring you the action. We're heading straight into a gun round here, Danny, with Seed having an AWP on their side alongside a couple of SMGs. And already frags coming back and forth, a team kill in the mix, and Resistance get themselves the man advantage.
Yeah, I think that was a double peek towards ramp there, and I'm not quite sure how on earth that team kill did happen, but it did. Dennis killing Speedy. And now Seed, they're down a man. They're very much down a man. They have a crystal on the op, but they're putting all their eggs in one basket. The basket actually being this A part of the map, and it actually isn't looking like that bad of an ordeal, because you take a look at Resistance, the way they're maneuvering, they might actually try to hit this A part of the map. And also, you gotta give credit to Zen. So much map control and information being gathered by him. He's taking a look. Oh, looks like B apps are empty. This is weird from the Resistance side. If B apps are empty, then this should be still very much a push on this A bomb side. And Impulse not getting that shot. Crystal, though, reigning supreme with the op and Resistant. You know, time is ticking. They're gonna have to continue on with this push.
Here comes Holmes coming out from Palace. The timing is perfect. Crystal not expecting the push to come out. A little bit of team damage there, and KGR just about survives on 5 HP. And Resistance with 28 seconds left. By the looks of things, will make it on towards this A site. Innocent is the man in the back box trying to lock this down, but Holmes finds a quick headshot. And despite Zane's best efforts, he gets the one kill, but still two more to find. He's not going to find them. Holmes finds a triple kill for Resistance to take this first gun round in their favour.
I'm sorry, but Innocent pretty much just baited his teammate right there. I'm not quite sure why on earth didn't he take the angle on the A side itself. Yeah, he was kind of watching Palace, but not really. If a player could have peeked, then we just saw it did happen, a peek did happen. He can simply kill the Opera Crystal, so that's gotta be quite dissatisfying for Crystal. He's now trying to go all Foon here while jumping up there towards shore, and the nade almost finishes him. That's only 1 point of health out, and the nade in the end will be the finisher of Crystal. So I kind of see what they try to do. They're trying to go for that early mid aggression, but they get slaughtered here towards middle, and Seed isn't over. They want to go for more. They're going for seconds here. Will it be successful though? That is the question. They're not seeing the T's as of yet, as they pretty much abandoned this part of the map, fighting so detrimentally for it. But Dimka, though, could get a frag, and a frag he will get. So now Seed is crumbling here on a 3 versus 2. It's not looking so good.
Yeah, Dennis was a bit hesitant there on the peak, but he does eventually find the trade. Either way, it's going to be up to Innocent to hold on to this A site. He has now got the support, and the flash will help him out, but he still can't get the kill. Dennis, though, finds that opening frag, and now both opponents are fairly low on health as Dennis goes aggressive, but still can't find the single shot he would have needed. KGR was just on 5 HP that entire time, but unfortunately for Dennis, he could not find a kill. I think the shots were landing towards the stairs in front of him, and so instead, Resistance will be the ones to take the round and to force Seed back down to a weak bye.
Yeah, the round previously was relatively close in the end. I mean, it was close there favoring the Seed side. That push towards middle was abysmal in most cases. I mean, pushing out through window like that, sometimes the CTs can get caught off if the Ts have got a good spawn. In the round previously, they had a pretty good spawn, you know. They were able to overwhelm the CT side. Speedy and Crystal hitting the deck very early on there. It would have been nice to see players also pushing up from connector, and as they're pushing through connector in this sort of eco, they're not going to be finding much success. Only the lonesome kill onto Dimka, but that is about it. After ecoing, now they can afford the proper buy here, Seed, and the proper buy it will be as Crystal, again, I presume he will buy the op, and I don't blame him by investing that sniper rifle. I do hope he's not going to be going for that sort of push there we saw previously when he was actually able to jump up there towards short. It's pretty good angle sometimes, don't get me wrong, but it's just the problem was that Resistance just had the better timing.
And we're going to see this time Seed go for some aggression up mid. Again, it's Dennis who's holding the aggressive angle. He has got a couple of players supporting behind him. So I guess the idea is if Dennis pulls the trigger, then he can just try and get one kill, fall back to safety, and then allow his teammates behind him to help him out, specifically Crystal holding the angle with the AWP. So Dennis wasn't in too much danger, but he still decides to fall back. As the flash will go over towards A. In the meantime, push came out towards mid, and Zane was caught off guard there. Crystal was forced off the angle, and so it's just a free kill for Resistance on the mid play, but Crystal finally finds the trade back into a 4-on-4. Still though, Resistance gaining a bit of map control towards mid, and a 4-on-4 in theory should favour them. As you can see, Seed have still got 2 players towards the B site, so A is looking fairly vulnerable here, considering it looks likely that Resistance might go for a push there. As I say that though, Dennis gets a frag, makes it a second from Connector, and that should make all the difference as Impulse is the only man left with the AWP. Nearly gifted the kill there, but just misses the shot on the peek through. And now he's stuck in a 1-on-3 with many angles to try and deal with.
A lot of angles indeed. You're probably thinking that Resistance, they might as well just have this round in the bag already, but there comes Dennis. 2 massive frags for him. Molotov does land there. I was scared that it might actually bounce back there. But anyhow, Speedy is here to finish things off here in a round like this. And Resistance, that was a bit sloppy there in the end. You're probably thinking that, Dennis, surely, he pops out a very good flash from Connector, able to secure the first frag, but then also his teammate was very slow on the refrag there from Resistance, and Dennis getting a second frag as well. Why not? Resistance, though, they have got some money in this round. Money isn't that big of an issue, and they're also having an AWP in the forms of Impulse. So now I'm wondering, will the op be of great power in a round like this? Because before, the ops haven't really found much success. It's been pretty much the rifles that have been finding those early frags.
Yeah, it seems like that's been the case so far, and I think it's because we have seen the rifles playing more aggressively than the AWPs up until this point. We've seen Dennis fairly often go for some small aggression to start the round. He hasn't really found the picks from it, but you can see the idea from Seed. They're trying to get those rifles to take those opening fights. Either way, Resistance still just going to continue to play incredibly slowly in this round. They're not even really trying to find a pick anyway. You can see on the map they're just holding passively and waiting to see if Seed go for anything themselves. But it looks like that's not going to be the case, and well, the clock is going to start to become a factor. 50 seconds left, and Resistance finally going to throw out a few nades. By the looks of things, they're going to group up towards B apartments. So with Seed having 2 players committed to B, you would think they would be able to hold this off, but that is yet to be seen. As Resistance go for the aggression, Crystal took damage towards mid, and here comes the push towards B.
Yeah, and Decky? Why isn't he expecting the player to still be in that spot? He could have cleared it out. Very simple peek from him, and he also could have gotten a frag. But speaking about frags, Resistance, as they're getting some of these frags here on the B bomb side, it's not going to be enough. The retake is coming in, and Impulse are going to be in a pretty awkward spot. He will be taking down Zen there with a quick scope, but I'm pretty sure Innocent is going to be a tad bit quicker, denying the bomb plant and Resistance. They kind of had a pretty nice effort there, especially with that player peek that would push up short. Crystal missed at the shot. That gives an opening. They could have gotten the frag there towards middle. Then they could have slowed down. Maybe Den regroup, try to hit B. But that was a bit of a failure from one of those players, I have to admit. He gets the frag with Crystal. Things are looking up for Resistance, but it just didn't go their way. Now they're just going to be going with pistols by the looks of it. Some of those upgraded pistols, the Deagles, P250s, but still not much. And I'm actually quite surprised. They've been allowed to take mid control. Seed is simply giving it away for free.
Yeah, out comes the flash though, and Innocent will decide to at least put some presence towards mid. Here comes Zane himself looking to help out, and he finds a frag of his own. Gets the second kill before the trade comes in, so they will shut things down. The one UMP will not be saved, but all the rifles will be held onto into this next round. And I do want to point out quickly that in the round before this one, at the end, Innocent had the option of saving a second AWP if he wanted to, but he decided against it. He switched back to the AK at the last second, so it looks like Seed are more than happy to just stick with Crystal on that sole AWP for the CT side. And he's going to go towards B to start things off. He is going to have to deal with Impulse on the AWP as well. Both teams just having a single AWP. And Resistance going to go for an incredibly quick B play here. I wasn't expecting to see this aggression coming out from the Serbians, but it's working out okay. They get the one kill. Here comes Spiddy, though, trying to tap away. Impulse, though, finds that entry. And so now the B site is looking wide open as Resistance find themselves 3 entries on towards the site.
How is it happening? I have no idea. They had 2 players flanking. There's still one on the flank. That'd be Zen, but they're now expecting him. They were not as quick as the flank as they probably one should have expected. And I think they also pulled the trigger a bit too quickly there. And now that flash is perfect onto Innocent. Zen is gonna fall. That was a bit of a failure. I mean, we saw 2 players coming in from behind onto the Resistance guys, and I'm not quite sure. One of them dies, yeah. But the second one wasn't able to get some sort of refrag there. That was so awkward. You were thinking, Seed, they're in such a good position to win that round, but they just end up falling flat on their face.
Yeah, and that means that Seed have been forced back down to pistols, so that's a fairly detrimental round loss. You can see Resistance with the double AWPs again on their T side. This is what we saw from them previously on Mirage. It looks like it's going to work out for Decky as he gets that first kill. He also has Dimka helping him, but Dimka doesn't win that fight there. Dennis with the CZ can now try and push for another kill, and Decky continues to take the fight despite only having the AWP and deciding to take the fight with the pistol. So now all of a sudden, Seed get themselves a couple of guns and the man advantage. Well, it might not be that case for long because Dennis is down to just 20 HP. But for the time being, Seed will be able to hold on to the 4v3 in their favor.
A favorable one. You could definitely call it like that. Speedy holding close with the Zeus. They have a bit more firepower towards this bomb site, but now Crystal is actually rotating away. He's still going to try to find something with the AWP, and I don't blame him. You know, having that AWP, he has got to be the one to make the difference here, as you have Speedy, who's with the lonesome ESP. He's also got the Zeus, but that's not a lot. Zen has got the CZ, and Dennis, even though he has got the AK-47, he's only got 20 points of HP, so that is not something a lot to work with here for the Seed side. But speaking about something, look at Speedy. With the USP though, he's actually being such a good player right now, getting a lot of intel, okay? No one's towards C-spawn. It's probably not going to be an A hit. In fact, it might be B, and Zen with the CZ. This is where he can be of great prowess, and he's going to be getting the second one at that. Holmes is going to drop. And the AWP wasn't as necessary as I might have thought. Zen's CZ doing most of the work, especially dropping the bomb carrier. I mean, that just puts Holmes in such a difficult spot trying to clutch that one out. Seed was on a relatively low buy. They have found quite a lot of success and even a round win.
Yeah, we saw Resistance on the first map of the day want to go for those double AWPs on the T side of Mirage. They go for it here as well, but up against the weak buy, this is why I really don't particularly like the double AWPs on the T side of things. I'm still not convinced that it's too good for them, especially when they're up against a weaker buy like Seed had there. We saw after the first kill came through in towards ramp, it almost already looked like they were going to struggle to find anything else, and luckily he had the support, but still doesn't work out in the long run. And so now Seed are the ones back in control. That round loss for Resistance puts them straight back down to almost no investment into this round. And this will almost certainly be Seed really putting their mark on this game now. They should get an 8-4 lead, which already is looking fairly good for them. Crystal does miss that shot towards mid, but with that AWP, I'm sure he's still going to be fairly happy to take the fights. Still not really seeing the kills come through here for the CT side just yet. There goes Crystal, though, finding one. The Glock is doing well for Impulse here. He finds a quick kill for himself. But that's all they're going to get, except for Decky, who does find another frag. So not too bad for the Glocks, all things considered. But still, Seed only lose 2 players.
Yeah, all in all, that was still pretty good for Resistance. They might just have to eco again, but no, they're in fact in a force up here. I honestly don't blame them, as you know, the first half is still coming to a close, and they definitely could use some rounds here, but honestly, if this buy falters, they're just gonna have to eco yet again. Maybe a partial buy from the Serbian side, but that's still not gonna mean much. They're gonna be relying on this buy, I'd say, quite a bit. Surely if they get the round win here, that'd be nice and all. But if they end up losing, that is where things get dicey here for Resistance. Seed up to 9, and they would only have 2 more rounds to work with here. So Resistance, let's see what they can come up with here. Impulse with the op is towards middle, but he's not peeking just yet. He's just holding top mid, expecting for the CT side to beat the aggressors. But I'm liking this from Seed. They should realize either Resistance is on a weak buy, or they forced up, and that isn't that of a good buy. So Seed, all they gotta do now is just play a bit more passively towards the side as well. But they're giving up mid control, and this isn't that bad because pretty much Resistance, even though they have no idea there are no CTs in mid, they're still waiting, they're hesitant, they're expecting the CTs to push, and around 1 minute, they finally take mid, but still, a decent amount of time has already passed.
We've seen Resistance be able to take mid fairly often. Seems like Seed are willing to give that up, and oh wow, Innocent spraying through the smoke finds himself a headshot to open things up in the round. Decky though pushed up himself in towards Connector, gets the kill back, and Innocent here is still trying to hold the AK, does find a second headshot, but in comes the trade. So despite Resistance losing that man early on, they still get themselves back to a 3-on-3. And the bomb's going to go down on towards A, but there's no cover. Decky needed some support there, but instead, the bomb will not be planted because Zane pushes through himself. So Impulse, the one man left, does get the first shot, but with 14 seconds left, the time is against him. He's going to have to recover the bomb and try and find some sort of angle. 7 seconds left, he needs this kill quickly. He's going to go for the plant, but he is out in the open. And so Speedy will finish him off, and Seed will continue to get their cells rolling on this CT side.
Why? Why of all the spots on that A bomb site, you decide to plant towards CT, pretty much the only spot you haven't covered. You have players coming in from connector, so it does make sense to plant towards connector. I mean, you can have one of those players holding connector, taking a look at short. Have a player in jungle, in window. He can hold off any sort of seed players who might just try to sneak through murder hole. That would be such a good spot to have planted the bomb. Towards CT, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, that's a question mark of a territory. You have no idea if CTs could be there. In fact, CTs were there, and dropping the bomb just puts Impulse in such a difficult clutch. 1 versus 3. He does get the first kill quick enough, but that simply was not good enough. Resistance now, as I mentioned previously, they might have to be on a bit of an eco, and a bit of an eco we're already seeing. Some of the players invest at Kinger, but he's now going to drop, and Speedy going to be getting easy kills to his name, Dimka, with the season, and he's gonna drop. So relatively clean round for Seed, but money, I mean, it doesn't really matter for the CT side at this point. Clean or not, they win the round, and the scoreline is 10-4.
Yeah, and of course, last round of the half, we're going to see buys for both teams. Resistance themselves not quite able to afford any AWPs this time. We've seen them try and go for the double AWPs on their T side in the past, but this time they don't have the cash for it, so it's just full AKs for the Serbian side. And in the meantime, of course, Seed still have the AWP for Crystal. We are seeing Resistance group up a bit towards Biaps, and look at the aggression. Seed try and take the fights, but it's not going to work in their favour. Decky and Dimka both find a kill each, and so now Resistance finally in a good position to try and take a round win. Seed there, I'm surprised to see such aggression come out from them, considering their patient play seemed to be working in their favour, but they still try and switch things up, and Innocent will get a kill back, so still certainly winnable for Seed, but Resistance with the man advantage will be liking their chances, and there we go, Impulse finds another frag to give Resistance an even better chance at the round. Though as I say that again, Innocent finds the belated trade, so back to a 3-on-2, but here comes the plant on A.
It's the second time they do it, and it's the second time they screw up. They make so much noise while it's walking underneath underpass and walking up the stairs in general. So much noise being made, and I'm not quite sure, even though the bomb has been planted on A, that's good and all, but the players that have already coming from the B side are taking their sweet time, and Crystal spawning out Kinger, he should be getting that frag anytime soon, and the problem is though, the bomb hasn't been planted for the players Dimka and Holmes, and they're coming from B, and even though Holmes spawning out the diffuser will drop in Crystal now. Oh no, Crystal, he just simply doesn't have enough time if he plants the bomb, so at least it's a good thing that Holmes actually goes for CT. He might just be able to put himself in a position to win the round, and the round he just won. But, I mean, still close round, a close round indeed, and Resistance, you know, pretty much if they win a round, it's been relatively close. They have they did win that one round where they were up against an eco of seeds. So I gotta give credit for them that they were able to break the seed economy, but really Resistance just simply didn't had much going for them on that T side. Mistakes were made, but now I'm hoping maybe less mistakes will be made on this CT side.
Well, that will have to be the case for Resistance because they're already 10-5 down. So this pistol round becomes important. They need to not make mistakes, as you were saying, but the push towards top mid could be a mistake because already 2 kills coming through. Innocent finding one of them alongside Dennis. Dimka will get gifted 1 kill as Crystal decides to push by himself. A little bit unnecessary there, in my opinion, from Crystal, especially as I think he was the man with the nades. So they lose out all of their utility, however, still looking fairly good for Seed as they group up for this B push. And there's only one CT here to hold the site. Although the bomb is dropped down, Holmes is still going to slow things down and allow the rotate to come in. Still only 1 kill for Holmes, looking for a bit more. I think he got overwhelmed, indeed he did. And so now Dimka left in a 1-on-3, looks for the 1 kill, and he does find a headshot. Still 2 more to find as the bomb goes down.
Plants the bomb. Innocent in this part, he's still got enough time to go towards short, but nope, he's just gonna take the fight and he's gonna be winning the fight. So that's props to Innocent and of course Seed. I mean, I kind of understand why Crystal in the end tried to push there after. I think the majority of the engagements happen towards middle. That's where Seed is able to get those 2 frags, and I'm guessing what Crystal is thinking. Okay, if we drop 2 of the CTs down towards middle, so either the A bombs, it should be relatively empty, or there should be 1 or so guys. But the problem is there are 3 players towards that part of the map, and that is where things do get difficult for Crystal. But he does get valuable intel, and in the end, Seed goes towards the B bomb site, hold it by only 1 CT, and able to win the round in the end. Resistance, they're gonna try to resist Seed's very powerful looking buy here, and Dimka will be getting a frag into Speedy, so the force buy isn't looking that bad here for Resistance. They should be recovering a weapon, that weapon being the SMG, the UMP-45, but Resistance, in fact, is gonna be giving away the B bomb site. This isn't that bad of an ordeal as Holmes with the scout missing a shot, a second shot at that. Holmes, that's heartbreaking. I mean, if he gets both of those shots, it might be a kill. It might be serious damage dealt on the Seed players and a very winnable situation. But right now, I mean, it's a 3 versus 2. Crystal, Zen, Innocent, both 100 HP. And Impulse and Dimka are pretty much out of this one.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Resistance because earlier, with their aggression elsewhere, that was working out fairly well for them. And as you were saying, if Holmes just even gets a tag and then just plays things safe, they could be in with a decent shout there. But instead, it goes the other way, and so Seed will just about hold on, although Impulse does find 1 exit kill with the Desert Eagle. Crystal will make sure the bomb is safe, and indeed it is. But Innocent is continuing to push out here. Looks like he doesn't want to let Resistance save these guns. He realizes he's just going to have to let it happen. And so, all things considered, Resistance still gets something out of the round. They get to save an AK for Impulse as well as a UMP for Dimka. It's not a terrible round for Resistance, but at this point, being 12-5 down, they really could have done with a round win. And so, here we go. Resistance are going to take the gamble. This force buy could be everything at this point, and they are up against full AKs from Seed, so this isn't going to be easy for the Serbian team.
It's not looking that good, but Impulse though, with that saved AK-47, you're probably thinking he might just be putting himself in a position to do some relatively decent amount of damage. He does hit, in a sense, HP, but other than that, the AK-47 hasn't been able to accomplish much resistance, as they are on a bit of a, well, actually proper force buy here. I don't blame them. They really could use some rounds here on the CT side, and the buy isn't looking that bad. I mean, 3 MPs of Hamas and AK-47. Surely it would be nice to see the rifles come out, proper rifles like the M4A4, the M4A1S, its counterpart. But even then, they have a decent amount of utility which has already been expended, so that's something Resistance has got to be careful about. I do like the fact that they've got, wrap control, but even though they have ramp, they've pretty much abandoned in middle, and with abandoning middle, look at Dennis is already in towards window. This is going to be quite a crucial spot from him.
Yeah, 45 seconds left here, remember. So Seed will have to go fairly soon. It looks like Their mind has been made up to commit to this A site push, but there are 3 CTs here. There comes the flank though. It's Dennis who was indeed boosted up to find that first kill, and Spiddy finds one of his own. There's still a player on the site, but Dimka has a lot to do. He finds the one frag, but just too many players to deal with. And so the rest of Resistance over towards B, I think, might just realise this round is already pretty much over. And I think that A take there for Seed might just put them too far ahead, especially with Resistance not really having the money built up. I think at this point it's really tough to see them coming back, and they'll hope to save these guns to try and get at least a decent buy into the next round, but even then, it's not looking great for them.
And you know what we might actually see again from Resistance? They might actually try to force up. I mean, they're in such a deep hole right now that it kind of does make sense to force up, because the players, they're simply not going to be having a lot of money, so they have a couple of choices. Of course, they can try to go for the good old-fashioned eco, or they can also force up. They might just have something to work with, you know. Again, they can purchase up the UMPs. That's not a lot, but it would be something. Or they can eco here. 3 of the remaining players will probably eco. That seems to be the call. And you know what that means, Haka? Seed might actually extend the lead here even further, making the scoreline 14-5 in Resistance. That is definitely not something. It would be interesting to see. Maybe Impulse with the AK-47 can actually be even of greater effect than what we saw previously, but by the looks of it, it's not looking likely. He might just get a frag here towards short, because Lonesome Innocent is, well, get this, alone, and oh, he spotted out Impulse. That's the AK drop. Then the rest of the Seed guys looks like they're gonna overwhelm B, and in fact, that's pretty much the correct site they want to hit. There's barely anyone here. There's one guy on the site, one guy towards short, but it shouldn't be too difficult. But the player who is on the site is towards Ninja, but he has been spotted though. Dimka is gonna drop sooner than later. And now Deki and Kinger. Kinger has retrieved the AK, so I'll probably... Oh, he's actually pushing here. Okay, then Kinger. So that's the AK dropped, and now Deki with the deagle. Probably gonna try to get a frag here if possible, or retrieve some sort of weapons, but looks like that's not gonna be the case. Innocent spotting him out and dropping him. 14-5 is the scoreline here on Mirage.
Yeah, Resistance will finally have the full buy, and of course they're going to have to win this round at this point. They will get the AWP for homes, whereas on the Seed side of things it's just AKs. At the same time, Seed themselves do have full nades. But yeah, surprisingly, a very good buy here for Resistance. They were willing to make sure they had a little bit of extra money to make sure they get this one together. And so let's see if Resistance can, at the very least, start to put up a bit of a better fight. Of course, it was always going to be difficult after they lost a pistol round, but let's see if they can win a gun round or two and start to build up those rounds. Of course, at this point, if you want to try and compete for the win, I think you really just need to not focus on the scoreline and just focus on trying to win the rounds. We're going to see King or try and push through the smoke. I don't mind the idea, but Crystal was already out towards mid, and without the support, it's never going to be easy for Kingle to get a kill there. He goes down first. So again, C get to play from a man advantage, which has fairly often been the case so far on their T side. And that's been one of the reasons why they've been so successful so far.
Yeah, they've been having some decent success here, Seed, and again getting those frags towards middle. Middle is open for business, and looks like the A side as well. Impulse will be burning down Speedy, but in the end, it's still the Seed team that is coming through. Will be planting the bomb on A, and Deki, I don't know, in a position he's right now, I mean, he might just try to go for this one, especially after getting a fragment of Crystal. But if he's gonna go through Murder Hall, yep, Zen is gonna get the angle. So 15-5 is the scoreline. Not looking good at all for Resistance. The Serbian team is just having quite the difficult affair here on Mirage. On the T side, they had better time. You know, they picked up 5 rounds on the T side. It looked relatively close from at the start, you know. Resistance losing the pistol round, then picking up the gun round win, making the scoreline tied up 3-3, but in the end, it just seems is simply running away with this game.
Yep, here we go. Last round could be if C take the win, and quick trades out towards mid, back to a 3-on-3, and Holmes could get good timing. There we go. Resistance finally get themselves a man advantage, but Spiddy and Zane are still more than capable of clutching this if Spiddy can get this kill. Just as I say that, though, he loses the fight, so it's looking good here unless Zane can win the clutch. Out comes the nade, good damage dealt, and, well, Deki does peek into the open. I was surprised to see him peek there with just the scout, but of course he had the CZ as the backup, and that works out for him to find the frag. But as always, still an incredibly long way to go for Resistance if they want to bring this to overtime.
Uh-huh. That's a long way to go here for Resistance. I mean, 9 rounds in a row is what they require. Pause. I mean, it has been written relatively late there from Dennis, so I mean, no pause will be coming through at this point in time. Maybe the next round, unless Seed is somehow miraculously able to win this one after requesting a pause. So, not quite sure what the pause might be the issue. Probably some sort of tech issue, especially happening so late in the round. And Seed, all they gotta do now is just simply deploy these smokes onto the A bomb, so it's some of those classic smokes. And now they're gonna try to push through. Problem is though, Dimka is very much on the side and he can do damage dropping the bomb carrier. That is not good here for Seed, as they gotta have to move in quickly here. Resistance, they're taking their time, to be honest, even though the bomb is already on that A bomb site. Finally, Impulse and Co are here. Impulse though picking up 2 massive frags, and even the third one in the round. Speedy coming from middle, but it's a bit too late. Speedy, all his teammates are already dead, and all he can do now is just pretty much warn them. They might just try to go for the clutch here, Speedy, but it's gonna be a bit difficult, especially with Holmes holding at that angle. Holmes, there we go, gets the frag in the end. 15-7, and the pause does come through.
Yeah, looks like it's Resistance with the technical issues this time. But yeah, a little bit of a awkward fight at the end there for Spiddy. But I think more importantly was earlier on the A hold, you saw Dimka. He got 1 kill, and he also just slowed things down to allow the rest of his team to get into position. And you saw there, Impulse was the man rotating over with the AK, who really made a big difference. But it was also important earlier that Resistance did slow down that push and make sure he could get into the A site quickly enough. So Resistance now, they've got themselves into a position where they can try and keep the seed economy low if they continue to win rounds. Of course, it's still a very difficult position to come back from, but with the economy being in their favor now, if they can continue to win the rounds, if they can continue to force seed down to these low buys every now and then, could still be some chance for them to build up a few more round wins. As for Seed in this round, we'll have to see what they can do with just the pistols. I do like they've gone for a little bit of utility. We'll get to see if those flashes over can allow them to get up close and try and take some fights. As the unpause comes through, let's see what Seed will do with what little utility and weaponry they have.
I think for Seed, okay, paused again. But what I want to say for Seed, still, the plan for this game, I presume, is just gonna try to maybe plant the bomb. If they plant the bomb, then the Seed side is gonna be having a relatively good buy. So I think that's what they're counting on in a round like this, especially with those 2 smokes. Really, if they're going to be hitting, for instance, the A-bomb side, if you throw a smoke, for instance, towards CT stairs also, you can then have a relatively good entrance on that A-bomb side. All you gotta do is just jump out of apps, plant that bomb, stick it through, get the bomb plant, and your team is gonna be having extra money into the upcoming round. So I'm wondering, is Seed gonna be following my advice, or in fact, no. They're gonna be going for a complete 180 and go towards the B bomb. So that is at least where the bomb is dropped. And Seed, for the time being, will try to get some sort of frags, but peeking out against those M4s, I don't know if that's according to plan, Seed.
Not the best start to the round. I think that was over towards mid there. Kingor found that first kill fairly easily. We have seen, though, the rest of Seed, well, specifically Zane, make his way out towards mid. Doesn't seem like too much is going to go down, though, although that nade does go a bit too far. So Zane only takes a tiny bit of damage. So Seed just going to use the clock, take things a little bit slowly. On the Resistance side of things, they are holding fairly patiently, and that works out for Dimka. He finds himself another kill. There goes a second frag for himself, and Kingor also doubles up. In fact, even triples up in the round. 3 kills for him. Resistance, as expected, take the round, but they are still going to be under pressure as Seed goes straight back into a buy.
All in all, that was a relatively clean round from Resistance, you have to admit. Money, as I mentioned previously, and even the map of Train, I mean, money doesn't really matter at this stage for the CT side, which is facing, being knocked out here on the map number, on their, I think Resistance, this is their second time playing here at the FCDB Cup, and after the first map, which they played Mirage, ending up with an L, The second one could be an L as well, as 15-8 is not a good scoreline to try to come back from. But Impulse though, this is very muy sneaky from Impulse as he pushes up with the op, and in for some odd reason the B bomb site still has only one defender, which is a bit odd, I'd say, from Resistance. This would be the opportune time to maybe rotate a player, or at least have a player that could be watching that mid portion of the map.
A little over a minute left. Seed will still have that man advantage. With the flash coming out towards mid, could allow Holmes the kill back. He goes into ladder room, but you can see the B site wide open. And Holmes even takes a little bit of damage from his teammate there. But again, no presence towards B. Holmes does get that first kill, but now the rest of Seed might just push their way on towards the B site. And you can see Holmes trying to get into position. But the bomb surely will be able to go down fairly easily here. Holmes does indeed go down. And the rest of Resistance fairly far away from the action. Seed should be now in a great shape to try and just close out this map right here.
And the thing is, it's probably going to be the case. 3 of those players all coming from the same spot, that being Kitching. That's not going to be good enough here for Resistance, as now Seed can really set up those crossfires. And even Crystal pushing through there, spotting out the players. And that's pretty much the end here for Deki, I presume. Low on HP and now simply dead. Dies to the AK of Speedy. 16-8 is going to be the scoreline, and Seed coming through. They pick up a win here on Mirage. Resistance, I do presume this is their, at least today, this is their second time playing Mirage, and both scorelines really not favoring them at the slightest, as they end up losing both of those matchups. First against Epsilon and now against Seed.
Yeah, unfortunately for Resistance, they take 2 losses today, and I believe they'd already lost 1 game before this point, so they're going to be 0-3 now, not looking that good for them in Group B. Either way, that is us done for the day. Thank you guys for watching. Some fairly entertaining games there in the mix. I was saying yesterday I wanted to see how Seed perform, and well, yesterday they didn't do that great, but today showing a little bit better for themselves. And other than that, I've been Hawker, joined by Sir Danny for these final couple of games. And got any other final words, Danny?
Only other than that, that we're not going to be having the Nova versus Trick game, as Nova, I presume, pulled out, and that has been rescheduled to the 8th of November. But really, other than that, not much.
Yeah, all good. So again, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you will come back tomorrow. We've got plenty of games still coming up tomorrow. I think we've got 5 best of ones tomorrow, so certainly excited to get straight back into things. So make sure to come back for that, and we will see you tomorrow.